Welcome back, my friends, to another episode of Coffee with Clara Rose. This week, I am excited because I have a guest for you. Some weeks I teach you something, but some weeks I bring in somebody that has something either cool that they do or has something cool to say or something important to say. And I love to have people come into the studio and actually be here with me. And today I have someone special. So let me tell you just really quickly about her, and then we're going to bring her on. Let me tell you about Melissa Taylor. She is a health coach. And Melissa leverages over 2 decades of experience in fitness and health and wellness in that field, and her holistic approach helps individuals find restored health and hope. She calls herself the Hope Coach, and here she is, Melissa.
Hi.
Welcome
so much
to
for
the
having
show.
Me.
It is my pleasure. So, I am dying for you to tell our audience what it is that you do as a health and hope coach. What does that mean?
Well, I think all of us are looking to have certain problems solved.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So I think a lot of times the health portion, being in better health is a big part of that. Mm-hmm. And when we get in a better health space, whether it be physically, mentally, emotionally, maybe spiritually, then it gives us renewed hope.
Renewed hope.
Yeah.
So it's the health that gives us hope.
Yes.
Whether it's mind, body, spirit, whatever, health in that way.
Definitely.
Now, I know that you specifically started in fitness, right? So tell me about that.
Yeah. So about 25 years ago, I was maybe closer to 30. I was the typical out of college, gained the freshman 30, 15, 20,
whatever
50,
that was.
Whatever that number
I'm not going
was.
to talk about it.
I ended up becoming an occupational therapist. Loved helping people, but then I ended up falling in love with my husband, who's since passed away. But he owned a gym called Body Construction, and when I met
good
him,
name.
Yes, very
Body
good name.
Construction.
When I met him, it kind of started my transformation and getting myself healthier, and not just having it being about a number on the scale, but he was really big into the emotional healing and how we connect with food and all those types of things. So I got healthy that way, but of course everything was based on go to the gym from day one.
Right.
Not everybody wants to go to a gym. So
it's a process,
yes.
Okay?
It is a process, definitely. So obviously everything was at the gym. Clients came 2 to 5 times a week. And we did the typical thing that you'd expect at the gym, the physical part, the emotional healing part usually with that. So I did that for 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Loved it. I don't know if there's another question to go into the next space.
There is another question attached to it because you actually have transitioned and are doing something else, but it stems from, only because I know your story, right? It stems from a frustration, right? Where you weren't able to help people, and that kind of took you to this new journey.
Yes.
So talk about the frustration first.
So first off, as I brought up the gym, I don't know about you guys, but a lot of people, if you bring up, you have to meet me at the gym,
right?
2, 3, 4, 5 times a week. They're like, all right, I'm out.
I'm out.
You know? So I want something else, something simpler, right? Time restraints, location, even just problems with joints or maybe the mobility that they can't get to a gym. So I was kind of limited with location, because if you're not within 5 miles, people don't want to come see you. Cost, at times that's a factor. I have clients that are several hundred pounds overweight, so maybe that's a factor. They don't want to go stand next to Skinny Minnie at the gym.
Right.
You know, with
jumping in her
full-on face and
spandex.
Makeup.
Right, with the perfect hair and the perfect spandex.
You know, so that's uncomfortable for them, you know. So for lots of reasons, there were people that I felt like I was missing the mark and I couldn't help them. My husband was trying to write books and doing podcasts and different things, but nothing really came completely together. So fast forward, there were a lot of people we could help, but I felt like there were ones that we were missing that piece. So fast forward, when he passed away, I'm like, what do I do now? You know, I'm a single mom of 3, didn't want to go to a 9-to-5 job. So I knew I loved helping people in the health space, but didn't want to be married to a location. So I was like, okay, I could do health coaching more online. COVID happened, so it was kind of the perfect timing.
We all went online, right?
And everybody started drinking, eating more.
Right, that's true. That's true.
From home,
the COVID 20 or whatever it was.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was looking for a way to make income work from home, help the people I helped before, but even now the people that I couldn't reach, how could I reach those people? So I ended up creating a health coaching program that I can work with people online. I like to do face-to-face, so I like to do whether we FaceTime or we do a Zoom call.
Right.
I think that personal contact matters.
Nice. Yeah.
When I was in the gym, I get to hug them, I get to see them.
Right.
So I feel like that really makes a difference. So that leads into what I do now, which is that it's more the emotional healing and food first. And if I can get those things under wraps, I have a 10 times better chance to get them to go to the gym, to walk, to join a Zumba class. If they feel better and they have that hope, they're actually asking me, what can they go do now? Which has never happened.
Right. You're like, wow, this is awesome.
This is great.
It's kind of backwards, but this is awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of, definitely.
So you don't currently have like a facility that you work at? Is that maybe somewhere down the road that you'll
possibly
help people with the fitness thing?
Yeah, so what I've done now,
through Zoom or?
Great question. So what's happened now, so again, I work with people all over the country, which is great.
Okay.
So a lot of people that I meet locally, then they have a mom, a sibling, someone that they know that needs help in that space. But what I love is even with the basics to start, we can do things at home. I have my clients doing push-ups on kitchen countertops and doing lunges and squats at home. So eventually I probably should just do videos with the basics.
Yeah.
Because now what I'm doing is I'm videoing and sending it to them individually.
Right. Yeah, so that's the hard. You're doing it the hard way.
Yeah, the other day I was at the mechanic shop getting my car worked on, and I told my client, I said, well, have you ever done bridges before? She's like, no. And I go, I'll send you a video. So I literally get down.
At the mechanic shop?
At the mechanic shop.
In the middle of the
room. And nobody was in the room. It was a waiting room. I put my camera up, started doing them there, and I was like, I got to find a better way for this.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably should put together at least the basic videos, right? So that people can, because it happens to me when I see a trainer a couple of times a week. It happened to me. She's like, now we're going to do X. And I'm thinking, what the heck's that? And even if we've done it before, my brain will go, I don't know what you're talking about. Right? And so then she'll show me and I'm like, oh yeah. So, and it takes a while when you're first starting it to become more fit, right? It takes a while to learn the jargon and the things that you don't, and we all do that, right? In our businesses, in our particular field, we get accustomed to using jargon that we understand. Yeah. But your client might not necessarily understand. Exactly. So getting something to help educate them will also free up some of your time. So I think that's a great idea. Put it on your list of things to do. Put it on your checklist. So when people come to you, they're really coming to you first for weight loss. Yes. Right? Most people. And then the relationship that they have with food.
So typically, the first thing is a health assessment. And I send them that because not everybody's going to be a candidate for one reason or another.
Oh, okay.
And we'll go over that in a moment. But I mean, obviously, there's as many people as it can help, the better. But we all know there's, it has to be the right fit. I have to be the right fit for them, number one. The program itself, I can pretty much help, I'd say 90% of the people. Okay. But, there are certain restrictions or a couple things that could come into place. So with that health assessment, I get a chance to see a full picture of where they're currently at. Right. And sometimes that's hard for them to be honest with what's the current reality, Right. Because we kind of don't want to see that. It's almost like when you see a picture for the first time, and I get a lot of people that will come to me because they'll say, I usually hide in pictures, but for the first time I saw myself and I don't like what I see.
And they're like,
yeah, so that gets them to take action. That's that pain part, help. Right? Right. So we look at sleep and relationships and current activity level, stress levels, their jobs, so we really do an in-depth look at what they're currently doing, what their goals are, maybe what they've done in the past that has or hasn't worked, which helps me out. And then is there anybody they want to get healthy with? Because we all know if you're married.
Right. If you're married or Even a friend
friends or
coworker,
someone that might want to do it with you.
buddy system kind of. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, if you're married, it's more difficult unless your spouse is like on board
Yes.
to losing weight and eating differently.
So
But they
true.
might not be, right?
That's right.
They might not need to lose the weight, or they might not,
Yeah.
some people's husbands are, anti-vegetable.
Yes, we know some of those.
Right? We know some of that, right? Or, they don't eat weird things. So,
Yes. Yeah, you can't disguise those vegetables. How do we disguise
no matter
them best,
how
right?
you try to disguise them, it doesn't always
Yeah.
fly. So, then those are just things that you work with them on, right? Helping
so
them to
once-
figure out.
Yeah, so once I know, okay, what are their goals? So what's the problem, right? There's usually weight's
Right.
part of it, energy,
Right.
lack of energy, lack of sleep. Their emotions are all over the place because if we're not eating properly and taking care of ourselves,
Right.
we know that we're not going to respond as well to things.
Right.
So once I look at that, I will show them a solution. And I think, I know for myself, even owning a gym as long as I did, there's so many options,
Right.
too many options. It's almost
Right.
like, what do I do?
That's
You know,
true.
there's this diet, there's that, there's this, there's so many different things where I think sometimes we're inundated with so much that we then pick nothing and do nothing.
Right.
So I try to keep it really simple. The program is very simple.
That's key. That is so key. I know
Right?
for myself, if it's too complicated, right? If I have to weigh my food, weigh and measure and go figure out what the calories are and the
Right.
fat, I'm just not going to do it.
Exactly.
That's the bottom line.
You and most people.
I'm just going to not do it.
Exactly.
Right? I may have good intentions and want
Mm-hmm.
to change and want the results, but the effort of all of that is just too much
Yeah.
for my busy life. And
Yep.
so I end up not doing things.
Exactly.
Right? So I need something simple that I can follow easily.
And
So I
that's the key. So that's what we really
So important.
focus on. And it's even gotten simpler. Like even the program that I coach, I've gotten better at keeping it more simple. Because I think like anything that you're excited about, you want to give all the information and
Right.
tell everything about it and almost
Right.
too detailed where people are like, what do I need to do?
Yes.
Plan it out for me.
Keep it simple,
Just
stupid.
Keep it simple, right?
Right.
And then maybe
The KISS
later they want to
method.
know a little bit more of the ins
Right.
and outs. But I've
Right.
had to learn to relax with it and know that it works and just trust the system
Yeah.
and just give them what they need as they get more into the program,
Yeah.
So it starts off really basic, and then a lot of times they want to know more. Like, whoa, that's interesting. I mean,
Right.
I feel like I have more energy and I'm not craving as much. I wonder why that is. And I'm like, oh,
Right.
this is why. And they actually are curious. They first just want it to happen.
Right. And then they
then,
want to learn
yeah.
more.
Yeah.
I like to know, like I'm probably the one client
Yes.
that you had that, read the material you said to read.
Yes,
Here, read
very-
this. Okay. So I did, but not everyone's that way, right? They want to, when they become curious, right?
Yes.
Then they'll dive in and learn more.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
Meeting people where they're at. I just am in the middle of reading a brilliant book. This has popped into my head that you'll want to read. Story Brand.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of it. Miller might be the name of the author, but anyway, it's all about building a story around your brand to sell your.
Love it.
And his right up front, he's saying, "Keep it simple, stupid." Right? Keep it so simple,
Yep.
and I think that's the key.
Yep.
Right?
And the thing I ask people right from the get-go is what is their why? And we all hear that even with businesses, if we've done any business classes, we all
Right.
know why, right? But with health, you think about your health journey, if the why is I have a reunion, or if the why is
Right.
something very specific in one thing that's coming up, you're going to, maybe do that just in grit and bear it and white knuckle
Right,
it
right.
to get to that
Just to
event,
get
right?
through
And
it.
then you're kind of just throwing it all out the.
I looked great at my reunion
Yeah, I'm
or
done.
the wedding or
Back
whatever.
to my old habits. So what we really try to focus on is very simple habits, just like brushing your teeth that you don't have to think about
Right.
now. So how can we incorporate, one or two habits at a time?
Right.
And before you know it, those just become habits. Now we're going to add something else to that
Right.
list, But food preparation, we know, is difficult for a lot of people. That's
Yeah.
just why we're buying things fast food.
Right.
So that's another big part that we go into, just keeping it super simple with some products that just keep it easy, and then working on how to make a healthier meal
Right.
Whether it's a Mexican or Italian or
Right.
American, how can we do that simpler? I don't really like to cook, so I'm a good coach for the people that aren't
That don't like to
crazy about
cook,
cooking,
right?
because they're like, well, how do you still get this done?
Right.
So, and then I have clients that love to cook and they have gardens,
Yeah.
and we have information for them too. They love
Yeah.
that as well.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Nice to learn how, if you love to cook, I love to cook,
Mm-hmm.
but I love to cook like good food.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
I love to cook the good stuff. Right. And so I want to know, how do I make this yummy stuff in a healthier way?
Exactly.
Right. And so then that's why we hire somebody,
Yeah.
right? A coach or a mentor or whatever you
Yep.
want to call it. That's why we get a coach to help us with things that aren't our superpowers,
Yeah.
right? Aren't in our wheelhouse. So
Exactly.
that's my part of the journey for sure right now, is I'm trying to learn how to make things healthier,
Right.
and still taste yummy.
Still tastes good.
Yeah, because that's a
Exactly.
big deal at my house. Right?
So true, right?
So yeah.
Definitely.
Well, tell me more about the, we're backtracking a little bit, but
Okay.
you were going to go a little deeper on the health assessment.
Yeah.
What other kinds of things are you learning from the health assessment? How do you use those? Or did you kind of go into that
Yeah,
already?
so a good thing, I mean, that whole why part, it goes deep, because as we all know, think about it this way. So if I ask someone, why is it that you want to lose weight? Usually it's very surface to start.
Right.
I want to feel better in my clothes.
Right.
I want
Who
to be able
doesn't?
to wear a swimsuit this summer that I'm not, wearing a big, cover up on, right? Then usually if I can ask them and they're willing to go a little bit deeper, well, why is that important? Then again, if I already know them and it's a friend, they might share a little bit more. But typically there's something deeper than that. And I don't always
Right.
find that out right there, but usually within time, because we're talking weekly. So I do
Right.
weekly appointments with them. I think we all need counseling
Yeah,
in our lives.
that's probably true.
I think it's become a lot more acceptable.
Right.
I almost think that when you don't have a counselor, something might be wrong. It's like,
Yeah, I'm sure you need a
person thinks
counselor
they've
for
got
something.
it all together, right?
Right.
I mean,
And none of us do.
right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, so with that health assessment, we're able to really not cookie cutter the program. Everybody's
right.
different. So,
Right.
granted, people need to lose weight, but usually there's just so many different things happening
Right.
at home with their health. I work with people that are diabetic, that are gout, that have high blood pressure, that pretty much anybody except that has cancer. I don't specifically work with, just I think more legalities and stuff.
Right,
I might
right.
give them suggestions, but they're usually going to work with their physician
Right.
on stuff.
Right, that-
I'm not a doctor.
Right. Right.
I have different nutrition and different certifications, but I'm not a quote nutritionist. But I'm able to give guidance on all the areas that I've kind of gotten good
That
at.
you do, yeah.
Yeah.
And then if there's an
Over
area
time.
where they do need to go see a different kind of professional, then
then-
you can say, okay, that falls
Exactly.
outside of.
And I
the
work with
scope.
physicians, so it's great as I
Perfect.
actually work directly with them. I have some patients that needed to lose weight for knee and hip surgeries.
Okay.
So
All right.
if you guys know any people that need help with that, you think they need, their BMIs need to be a certain number.
Before they can have surgery.
Before they can have surgery.
Okay.
So I had a lady that had 2 surgeries scheduled, and both times her weight wasn't at a certain level. So they had to literally not have surgery to the last day because she was hoping to make it to a certain
Right.
point. So we got together, lined up. She lost 30 pounds in about 2 months.
Wow.
And again, she was laser focused, right?
Right.
So she was,
After that surgery.
yes, she
Right.
was ready, which was great.
Well, and sometimes it just takes us getting to that point, right? For whatever the why is, and saying,
Yep.
all right, I'm ready to do the work. Because it is work.
Mm-hmm. It is work.
Right? That consistent. I love that you do a weekly check-in, though.
Yeah.
Because that accountability that comes from, I do that with my clients
Mm-hmm.
as well. We do a weekly check-in, because if you let more than a week go by, too much time has passed,
Yes.
right? Even if it's a
Definitely.
5-minute or 10-minute, just saying, how's it going this week?
Yep,
Right?
exactly.
You're asking health questions. I'm saying, did you get your chapter written?
Right,
Whatever it
exactly.
is that it is that
And
you're
if they
helping.
need more, they need more. Like I have one lady that's backslided, and I told her, she was like, I just think we should just stop this. I'm like, look, do you still want to hit and reach the
Right.
goals we discussed?
Right.
Yes. I said, well, you're not wasting my time. Then we just need to maybe for the next week or 2 talk more often.
Right.
And that's what we did. And it doesn't change.
Just to get back on track.
And it doesn't change the cost of the program. I just know that my goal is is if she wants to still go there, I
Right.
want to help her do that. You know,
Right.
and I made it clear to her, it's not, I think people feel bad sometimes, probably in your industry
Right.
too, like, well, I'm sorry, but I just don't want to do that anymore. And I remind them, it's not hurting me.
Right,
Like,
right.
I'm in it, you know, it's not,
Are you still trying to get to
if
here?
you're trying to
from
get
here
there,
to
I
here?
can help you.
Yeah.
But you have to have that desire,
Yeah.
like you said, and be willing to
do
make
the work.
changes and do the work.
Yes.
That
be
work
willing
word
to do-
comes
I
up again,
know.
doesn't it?
Well, and, we live in a society, a culture, if you will, especially in the U.S., that kind of, it's a badge of honor if you're busy, right? That fast pace, how are things? Oh, I'm busy,
Yep.
right? Slamming, going, right? It means stuff's happening, right? So we kind of almost glorify,
Yeah.
right? This super busy life. And so we just get so full and so busy with all of the things that sometimes important things fall by the wayside,
Yes.
right? So like our health, right? Our
big one.
weight, our fitness level,
Yeah.
those kinds of things, or even our mental health
Yeah.
can just get sidelined because it's not moving me towards my financial goal or whatever that is. So I think having a coach, tell me, why is this that when we're growing up, if we play a sport, you have a coach and you don't think anything of it, right?
Yep.
I had a basketball coach. I had a gymnastics coach. You had coach. If you swam, you had a swim
Yeah.
coach. And you don't think anything of it, but then you become an adult, and all of a sudden,
know it all.
when you say, right? Well, I turned 18, bing,
Yeah.
full of
Don't you know
knowledge,
all of that?
right?
Yeah.
Or 21 or whatever.
So true.
But in truth, a coach is just somebody who has knowledge you don't, right? And has the ability to help you get from here to there
Yeah.
to make a change. So, but for some reason,
Yeah.
when someone hears the word, "Oh, I'm a book coach or I'm a health coach or whatever," they're like, "Oh, like it's some hokey thing,"
Yeah,
or
right,
something, right? Like there's no validity to it. But so, at what point did we go from, "Oh, I need a coach to help me with this," to thinking, "Oh, I don't need a coach," or a coach isn't a real thing. It's getting better.
It is getting better.
It's getting better.
Yeah,
Our
definitely.
culture's shifting a little
Well,
bit.
even if in my space, I mean, how many protein powders are there? How many products?
Oh, my word,
are there?
yeah.
I mean, you can go anywhere, any store, and there's going to
Yeah.
be a product, right?
Yeah.
If that was all that people needed, everybody would be healthy right now.
Right. Right.
So when people, will say to me, well, hey, I can get this cheaper or that cheaper or whatever. I'm like, well, it's available, then go get it. Like it's
Yeah,
already been
yeah.
there. So I think unless
is.
we're real with ourselves and like someone writing a book, which by the way, at some point I want to do that.
I know someone who can help you with that.
You do. But I mean, I think, if it was as simple as just eating these things, then okay, then go do it.
Right.
But we know there's so much
Yeah.
more to that, and I think the coach part is, for me at least, I feel like we would give up on ourselves so many more times than I'm not going to give
Yep.
up on them.
Yeah.
So, and I
That's the
really
difference.
take it personally.
That's the difference.
I take it very personally when they give up on themselves because I already picture their future self.
Right.
And I'm working with a lady by the name of Coco now. And I said, I want you to imagine Coco 50 pounds lighter. Coco that's going to the amusement parks with her grandkids, that's not saying, hold up,
Right.
Coco that's put on that swimsuit and it's not hiding, in the pictures.
Right.
And once she, I think, could see that and connect with her.
Yeah.
So I keep on telling her I want you to
That's
talk
the
to that.
Coco we're after.
Yeah, that future Coco.
The future Coco. So
Yeah.
that requires somebody to prod you along. This
Yeah.
morning when I was with my trainer, I'm doing kickboxing now with my trainer, and she's like, tried it this way. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do that. I'm always willing to try. I don't know if I can do that. And I did it. And she's like, now, if I hadn't been here to push you, you'd have moved that pin, huh? I'm like, yeah. Right. Yes, I totally would have moved that pin. Right. That's why you have a coach, is somebody to
Exactly.
say, come on, you can do it, and
Yep.
push you a little bit harder, a little bit
And
farther.
celebrate with you.
And celebrate. Yes.
We don't
she's always
celebrate
been-
people.
We
When we get
don't.
older, think about the kids with the silly
Right.
trophies. Sorry, but I mean the ones, the participation trophies.
Right.
We celebrate even that.
But we don't celebrate as adults anymore.
So that's one of the big questions I ask weekly is, let's celebrate. Of course, we talk about the scale. Everyone's
Right.
usually wanting to lose
Right.
weight. But then I try to focus more so on non-scale victories.
Right. 'Cause
So
there's
what
a
did
bunch
you
of
do this
those.
week? that was something that was a better choice that you made or something, and then we celebrate those and they kind of feel like a little kid going, wow, like you got a gold
I
star.
did something. Well, I ate 5 potato chips instead of the whole bag. Right? That's a victory.
It's huge.
Right? For someone who, I'm not a chip person, but if someone is, that person will open the bag and sit there and eat the whole bag of chips to eat just a few and put them away. That's progress in the right direction. That's victory.
Definitely.
Well, we are just about out of time, so I want to make sure that we tell people how to get started with you, which is the health assessment, right? So where do they find your health assessment?
Yep, and that's complimentary. So that's a phone consult that we'll do on the phone. It takes about 30 minutes.
Okay.
So they'll go to healthandhopecoach.com.
Okay. Healthandhopecoach.com.
All one word, and spelled out A-N-D.
Okay.
Yep.
And they'll click on that, and it takes them to a
and
paper.
It just has a
digital
health assessment. The second they fill that out, it dings me. And then I will text them, let them know that I received it, and see what times work for them to do a 30-minute consult. Yeah.
It doesn't get any easier than that, right? A few seconds of your time.
And the good thing is it's just information. And then they can do with it what they want. If it's a good fit, great. And if it's not, hopefully they learn something in the process.
Right. That's awesome. That's awesome. I don't think it could be any easier, right? Getting started on a new health journey is always a little scary, and you can feel a little, right? Or what are they going to make me do?
Right, exactly.
Right. And if you can just be really honest and say, here's, like, I was super honest when I did mine. I'm not giving up my coffee with cream. It's not happening.
That's right.
Right? There's my line in the
didn't have
sand.
to.
And I didn't have to.
Look at that.
Line in the sand, not giving up my coffee with cream. And that's okay. And I absolutely enjoy that we talk every week and you encourage me. And I am down 30 pounds, so I am very excited about that. We are out of time, my friend, but thank you so much for coming and being on the show. I know that my audience learned a whole bunch, and hopefully there are some people saying, yes, Clara, I'm going to join you on the health journey, and they'll be reaching out to you. All right, guys, we are out of here. I will see you next time, same place.